Hi everyone. Um, 2 days ago, I had the chance to train with one of the best fitness coach in the world. His name is Akiniko. You can follow him on Instagram. He's quite famous, and he's also super inspiring for a wannabe athlete like me. And I really wanted him to become a Cowboy ambassador for the brand back in New York. So we ended up chatting for a while, and at some point we discussed how do you build champions. And his answer was super simple. He told me that you have to obsess about becoming better every single day, because after 2, 3, 4, 5 years, all those small improvements that you're gonna do will give you a chance to become the best version of yourself. And I believe this is exactly the kind of mindset that you have to have for designing a new product, like an hardware product, and you have to obsess over designing the best product in the world, and you have to do that for a very long period of time. And this is exactly what we try to do at Cowboy. We've launched a company 7 years ago, and for the first 5 years of the company, we've been focused on designing our first bike, the Cowboy Classic, that we've launched in 2017. And it was super simple. It was one color, one frame, one size, and we now have 55,000 customers, and our riders, they do more than 1.5 million trips per month. We've really obsessed on that first product for 5 years, so quite a long period of time, before launching a second one called the Step 2. The Step 2 was there to appeal to a bigger audience, especially women and young parents. The idea was to let the riders customize their bikes, so they could add a child seat super easily, they could add a rack. We have many accessories now, so it's easier for them to cover more use cases. And just last week, we've introduced what we call the cruiser that you can see on stage and in the video. And the idea is to have a more comfortable position so our customers can cover longer distance. It's already the best selling bike for us, so it's quite successful, and it shows that the market had a need for a more comfortable product. Sorry for the glitch on, on the video. So as I was saying, we do more than 1.5 million trips per month. Actually, in Germany, we do 500K per month. So Germany is one of our biggest market for us. We also have a shop in Berlin, quite successful. And if you want to replace a lot of car trips, we believe at Cowboy that it's not enough to sell bikes. You also have to increase the usage of the bike. And to do that, we focus on two things. First, we try to remove the friction of using the bike, and second, we try to give you incentive to ride. And like everything, it starts with design. So the bike has to be beautiful, accessible, super simple to use. And to achieve that on the Cowboy 4, we had to design more than 200 custom parts. Only the belt and the saddle is not custom made for the bike, but everything else is. And the goal was really to simplify the user experience. There is no button, no gears, no level of assistance. Everything is automatic, so if you want to go faster, you just push harder on the pedal, and it will give you just the right amount of power. Just a few months ago, we've also released what we call adaptive power. So now the bike can sense if you are going uphill, thanks to all the sensors we have built into the bike. We can also detect if you have more weight on the bike. And based on that, we'll also give you more power, so you can continue to ride effortlessly, even if you're going uphill or if you carry a child, for instance. So that new system called adaptive power is now available on all the Cowboy 4, even for the customers who bought the bike like quite some time ago. If there is no button on the bike, how does it work? Basically, the phone is the key. So as soon as you move the bike will sense it's you doing it, and it will turn on automatically. There is nothing to do. And when you stop using the bike, you just leave it there, and the bike will lock by itself. If you want to increase the usage of the bike, you have to also remove the fear of theft. We have a theft system built into the bike. We recover more than 70% of the stolen bike. And actually now, in Berlin, for instance, you have 50% less chances to get your bike stolen if you have a Cowboy compared to the other bikes, because thieves know that they will not be able to sell it, and also they will not be able to use it because they don't have the key. The system, again, super simple. Like if someone is shaking the bike or moving the bike, you'll get a notification on your phone, and then you will be able to track it on a map in real time. Instead of having a black and white LCD screen built into the bike, we decided to put the phone and build an application. On top of that, now you have a cockpit on the Cowboy 4. As soon as you connect the phone on the bike, it will start charging the phone automatically. And it means that we can deliver more value to the rider through the application. The idea of the app is really to make sure that every ride you do is perfect. Just to give you a few examples, if you forget to charge your battery, you get a notification on your phone telling you to do it. If we know it's going to rain later in the day, we'll tell you to take a jacket in the morning. If we know that you have a spike in pollution, we'll tell you to go slower and not push too much on the pedal so you are not impacted too much by the pollution. And we will also tell you, for instance, if your bike needs a maintenance check. Just a month ago, I think, it was last month, we've launched a new partnership with Google. We are actually the first company to use a new tech they've developed for cyclists. And the idea was really to build the best navigation system for e-bikes. So we've worked on that project together with Google for 9 months. And as you can see, we use the data of Google Maps, but we also use our own data to provide information about the battery of the bike, the speed. If you use a navigation system, we'll let you know if you can make it on your way back. And we will also let you know the pollution on your route, and we'll tell you if there is a better route if you don't want to be stuck in the traffic in the middle of the cars. Safety is also critical for us. And again, it's a friction when you have an e-bike. And we have a crash detection system built into the bike. So if you have any kind of accident, we can detect it. We'll send a notification to your emergency contact, and so you can get assistance. Since the beginning of the year, we've monitored like millions and millions of trips, and we provided assistance to hundreds of riders on the road. And again, that kind of system really helps us increase the usage of the bike. Last but not least, we have an on-demand network of technicians. So it means that if you have any kind of issues, you can just open the app, book an appointment, and then someone will show up to your place. We fix most of the issues in less than 3 days. And again, this is quite unique in the bike industry. I've talked a lot about removing friction, but we also believe we can give you more incentive to ride. And like everything, it starts with data. The bike will collect more than 25 data points every second when you ride the Cowboy. And the idea is that you can use those data to provide insights and to explain to the rider how they use the bike and how are they pushing on the pedal, for instance, and how they compare with other riders. We have personal records, we have achievements in the application. And the thing is, when you add the community layer on top of that, it's quite powerful. Just to give you an example, our community has always been super engaged. So we have group rides, for instance, in Paris every week. We have 1,000 of macro communities now in the application. So it means riders competing against each other. It can be like a group of people from the same company, a group of friends, but we also have bigger group like Rider Parnam. Like it's 600 people living in Paris, and every week they will take back the control of the street and ride together. Does that work to give incentive and to remove friction? Since we've started the company and since we've released a new application, we saw an increase of 15% of the usage of the bike. So yes, it's working quite well. They do more than 8 rides per week, and on average, the distance is 4.3 kilometers. It just shows that the bike is really the main way for them to move around the city, and that they fully rely on it for their mobility. If we look at all the data we have at Cowboy, we can do many things. For instance, we know that our customers, on average, have 61 kilometers of autonomy. They will charge a battery once a week. So we don't need to design a new battery for them, at least for the use case in the city. We know that on average, our customers will use the application for 46% of their trips. So that's quite interesting because again, we can deliver more value through the application because they know they have the phone open when they use the bike. And if we continue to dig deeper, we can also look at the crash and the location of it. For instance, this is a map of Brussels. You can see all the red dots. It's basically a crash hotspot, so it means that that zone is quite dangerous, and you will see why. Every time we look at those hotspots, it's a bit the same pattern. So you have a huge junction, a lot of cars, a lot of tramrail. I don't know if you guys bike in the city, but tramrails is really a fucking nightmare in Brussels. On that specific junction, we had more than 10 crashes. So it just shows like how bad it is for cyclists. And I counted like if you have to turn left, you have to cross 12 tramways. So every time you have a chance to fall. We can do the same for theft, for instance. We know that if you park your bike in some areas of the city, you have 3 to 4 times more chances to get your bike stolen. And so what's my point? My point is that at some point we could share those data with cities so they can improve the dangerous crossroad in Brussels, in Berlin, in London, in Amsterdam, in New York. We can also share the theft hotspots so they can add more safe and secure parking spots in the city in those areas, so you decrease the risk of theft. But also in the application, we can switch from being reactive to proactive and try to prevent the crash to happen in the first place or the theft to happen in the first place. The exciting thing is that we now have that partnership with Google, so we have the best navigation system in the industry. But if on top of that we add our own data and we start telling you that the crossroad just in front of you is dangerous, or that if you leave your bike in that area, you have a high risk to get it stolen, and so you should use a safe and a secure parking spot. We have a chance to build what we call the ways of e-bikes, and so we have an impact on not only like 55,000 riders, but we could have an impact on millions of riders biking in the big cities in Europe, and that's something super exciting for us. I see that my time is up, so that's perfect. Thanks a lot. That's all for me.